So, let's get into the deck profile that I have been enjoying over the last couple of months. And yeah, honestly, I took it to Ultimate Cup, not Ultimate Cup. I took it to Regionals over here in the UK. Performed very, very well. I came 56th, and then on the Sunday, there was an Ultimate Cup as well, and this deck actually ended up topping and coming second. So, this deck is in an amazing place right now, and I've absolutely loved it. I'm a big fan. But yeah, so let's get into it. Our level 3s, we're going to be starting off with, let's say, 2 Sayakumon. Now, this was only because I wanted to try and stop what my opponent could do as much. I wanted to kind of just limit the things that my opponents could do. Now, in hindsight, I would have swapped this out for Madoki Betamon, just because of all of the memory gain stuff that everything has at the moment. And there isn't too much of reducing Digivolution cost. What I would love to see in the future is I would love to see something like Solomon, which is in red, but come to blue to stop your opponent from being able to reduce play costs. That would absolutely destroy Digicross. But let's be honest, this deck wouldn't be an Ulforce V deck without the boys, the Vmons. We're running 4 of the BT12 Vmons. This is great because it allows you to search out one of your Veedramon pieces as well as one of your Tamers as well. And the amount of Tamers we run, it's pretty clear that it could be a double hit most of the time, let's be honest. But the staple Vmon of EX1 Vmon, you cannot forget. We're going to be running 4 of those EX1 Vmon, inheritable of when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1 memory. Guess what? This deck unsuspends itself during the main phase. Now those are our rookies, and I must say, I personally like to use the EX1 Vmon as my Digivolve on top of Wanyamon, but worst case, if I have 2 in hand, or if I just can't get an EX1 Vmon, the BT11 Vmon is a very solid second option, considering it's inheritable is also when you play a blue Tamer, gain a memory, and guess what? This deck plays Tamers. So, very strong rookies. Honestly, I think these Vmons are going to be a massive staple no matter what happens, and especially with the new Ulforce coming in BT13, I don't really know how it's going to play into this deck, but we'll have to see if these Vmon also stick with us there. Now, on to level 4s. Veedramon 0. This is the only 0 card I run in the deck. This, running this 0 card has saved me so much on the longer matches because it allows you to stack stuff back into your deck. Now, to be fair, its main effect here, when attacking, if you have a blue Tamer, you may trash top 3 cards of your deck to give this Digimon plus 2000. If you're wanting to try and cycle things, then maybe it's a very solid option, but it is also pushing a level 4 Veedramon up to a 7k, probably getting over your opponent's Digimon. It's really kind of just a if you're stuck moment. We've run this card for its inheritable, which is you may place 3 non-DigiEgg cards, this includes option cards and Tamer cards, from your trash to the bottom of your deck in order to activate draw 1. So you're getting an amazing cycle, you're refilling your deck, and really your opponent can't do anything about it. Say for example you hit Ice Wall Insecurity, or you've played Ice Wall already, or your memory boosts perhaps. If you really want, or even your hybrids, which we'll get onto in just a second. If they've already hit the trash, this card is in the inheritable, you swing, you chuck them back in your deck, you draw 1 card, you're cycling, and it's just amazing. There's a very big toss-up between running the Veedramon 0 or the Aero Veedramon 0, both of which do the same effect, but I decided to go for this one because I needed more level 4s, because we have got rid of the entire Leomon package. Now don't get me wrong, the Leomon package was very, very nice, but with all of the different hunter stuff that's going on, I feel like the Leomon package underperformed a little bit. But yep, so we were sticking with the BT11 Veedramon. We got 4 of those. When you play a blue Tamer, draw 1 as its effect, and its inheritable is when you play a blue Tamer, gain 1 memory. You're going to want to put this in your stack as priority number 1, again, unless you need to cycle your cards back into your deck. With Veedramon 0, you're going to want to put this Vmon as your primary target. That reason being, the other Vmon that we run is only a 2 of the BT2, no inheritable, but again, it's another one of those if you're stuck cards, where while you have a blue Tamer in play, the Digimon gets jamming. That's only its main card, that's only when you're in this Veedramon, it doesn't persist, unfortunately. But our final level 4s to round out this this 9 level 4s are 2 Kumamon. Now, you could run literally any hybrid, however I decided to keep the Kumamon because we're in a very heavy red hybrid meta at the moment, and the red hybrids need their tamers, need those tamers underneath, which give them security attack +1 or gain 2 memory, and running the Kuma as an emergency hybrid, or even just, again, an emergency level 4 if need be, to strip a source away from potentially a red hybrid, or stripping an egg away from a hunter, gets rid of their abilities to do bits. Okay, yes, red hybrid will probably 2-tap you still anyway, but it is what it is. But Kumamon was my choice here. I was thinking you could run the new Lanamon from BT12, because Lanamon allows you to gain jamming, I think it was? I can't remember, but don't quote me on that. So moving on to level 5s. Pretty much the same as my old Ulforce deck. We're running the 4 of BT11. It's amazing, allows you to search your tamers that you're going to need, and it's inheritable, allows you to activate one of your arena effects, which, let's be real, if you haven't played arena for the turn, you're going to be wanting to use the blocker and evade gain arena effect. I've dropped a card on the floor. Professional! Oi. So, we're then running 3 of the starter deck, 8 Veedramon. Honestly, just because it's jamming as its main effect, and when you're wanting to go into Ulforce, you kind of want to be suspended already. But again, the inheritable, very, very strong. If you have more than 8 cards in hand, gain security attack +1. Blue has a lot of draw power still, don't forget. So we're potentially being able to have more than 8 cards in hand. And that's also goes for Wanya, because when you attack and you have a blue Tamer in play, draw 1. I mean... Oh yeah, by the way, we're running 4 Wanyamon eggs. I realised I didn't actually say that. So there's that. But the level 5s, we're only running 7. Because we need to keep it short. So, onto the big boys. 4 BT11 Ulforce Veedramon. We know what this card does by now, but if this is your first time watching, I'll run it through. When Digivolving, you can play a blue Tamer card from your hand without paying its memory cost. During your turn, when you play a blue Tamer, unsuspend this Digimon. Also during your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon unsuspends, you can bounce a level 3 or lower Digimon to your opponent's hand. However, for every blue Tamer you have in play, +1 level to that bounce ability. So if you have 3 Tamers in play, you'll be able to bounce a level 6. You can't go wrong with it. You go over a swinging Veedramon that's already swung with its jamming. You go over it for 4 cost. All of your entire stack is giving you back memory. All your new arenas are giving you back memory. You're bouncing potentially your opponent's strongest monster, which is, my god, but bouncing Tamer's stacks is funny. Tamers? I meant Hunters. Bouncing Hunter's stack is funny. But what's even funnier is where Bandai decided, hey, we're going to take this card and make it 20 times better with Ulforce Veedramon X Antibody. This card, not only does it evolve for 1 from an Ulforce Veedramon, but its when Digivolving is literally just unsuspend this Digimon or one of your Tamers. I mean, you can go into this Digimon when it's like that, when it's already unsuspended, and unsuspend one of your Tamers, which is very, very funny. But we'll get into a little bit of a combo soon and explain why it's even better. Not only that, but all turns, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, if you have a blue Tamer in play, or if this Digimon has Ulforce Veedramon in its Digivolution cards, return one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. So no maximum level, no minimum level, it is just the lowest level Digimon. In my opinion, that's a little bit lackluster, but if you're already in this card and it's kind of late game, and you've already done your combo, so you already had Ulforce Veedramon on the field, you probably will have bounced their biggest with this, and then you're bouncing their lowest. That's probably their entire field at this point, with how the meta is currently. But this card is beautiful. The alternate art as well is also very, very pretty. I must say, the X Antibody symbol in the background, I am a big fan of it. I don't think I can get that on camera. No, you just get light. Unlucky. So, moving on to the options. As you'd expect, we're running 2 of the X Antibody option. Again, we'll get into why I'm running this a little bit later, but honestly, just using it for the X Antibody evolution is perfect. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need more than 2. I'd say you could probably run 1, but then it's very risky. So running the 2 of just a nice little safety. Now here's where my deck might differ from what other ones you've seen. Well, first off, mandatory Ice Wall. It's a blue deck. Why would you not run Ice Wall? But yeah, this is where my deck might differ slightly. I run 3 Great Maelstroms. Now this is because, other than the Ulforce, I have no bouncing, I have no protection, I have nothing really for my security. And even then, the Ulforce doesn't help in security. I have no way to protect myself. Great Maelstrom is intended for the Lanamon deck, like I said, the Great Mermaidmon deck, or Mermaidmon or whatever. Stupid name. But yeah, it's a great option. So when you would play this card from your hand by placing one of your Digimon as the bottom evolution card of one of your other blue Digimon, reduce the cost. That's understandable. But its main effect, return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck. You're just bot decking for 9 cost or potentially 6 cost if you're feeling that way. But bot decking for 9 cost? My god. It's beautiful. And in security, activate the card's main effect. That saved me so many times against either Quartzmon or Hunters. But this is the answer to Quartzmon. This is the answer to Mother D Reaper. Oh god, excuse me, hiccups. And your opponent can't do anything about it. The only deck that can stop it is Veedramon because of all of its protection. Excuse you, Facebook. But yeah, those are the only 2. And then of course we're running 2 blue memory boosts just to cycle the deck, to continue it going, to gain memory if need be. If your opponent chokes you to 1, just pop a blue memory boost and continue your turn. It's nice. Finally, moving on to... Is it finally? Oh, it is finally. Alright, moving on to the Tamers. We'll start with the Renas. We'll run with 2 old Renas from BT2. A nice searching one for her on play. Reveal top 3 cards and add 1 card with V in its name. You're going to want to... You use her to search the pieces. If you're not playing her off of the Ulforce Veedramon, you're hard dropping her for 3 to search for pieces that you need. And even then, during your turn, you can suspend this Tamer when one of your blue Digimon attacks to give 1,000. Tip-top shape. Speaking of giving your Digimon plus 1,000, we play 2 of the V-Tamer tie. Basically, if you have a Veedramon 0 in its name on the board, you can suspend this Tamer to either draw 1 or gain plus 1,000 for the turn. If you're trying to swing over something, then giving the DP, otherwise V-Tamer tie, another great cycle card. Drawing. Just draw power. Absolute draw power. Our final 2 of Tamer is Davis. Memory setter, cycling your deck for searches, not for searches, for the pieces that you need. Taking a blue card. Can't go wrong with him. Can't go wrong with them. These 6 Tamers here are ideally used for cycling. In an ideal world, you'll cycle with every single one. Otherwise, power, and just your memory setter. Honestly, can't fault them. But we're all here for the 4 of BT11 Rena. This is the linchpin of the deck. If you do not see them, if you have them deleted, or just if you have not played them, you have lost the game. Pretty much. That's the long and the short of it, unfortunately. You can win by not having these Renas out, but in an ideal world, you'll have all 4 out. All 4s? Haha, I see what you did there. That was a horrible joke. So, that's the crux of the deck. Those 4 Tamers, your other 6 Tamers, possibly other 12 Tamers if you're running the Leomon package. But that's my opinion. So, let's jump into the quickest of combos. So, let's get into the combo. We're gonna activate main on this Aero Veedramon. I realise there should be a 1-in-1 under here. We're going to activate main on the Aero Veedramon. This allows us to search the top 3 cards of our deck and hopefully pull out Tamers. We're going to pull out 2 Renas and a Davis just because those are the first one that I have to hand, and you triple hit this search. Phenomenal hit. So these are in hand, as well as your Ulforce Veedramon, your Ulforce Veedramon X, and your X Antibody. By God, you have the perfect hand. So, what we're going to do is we're going to Digivolve for 4. You're at 1, by the way. Your memory's at 1. So we're going to Digivolve for 4. We're going to then use his when Digivolving to play one of our arenas down. One of our new arenas, our BT11 arenas. This unsuspends and bounces one of your opponent's level 4s to hand, in this case, seeing as she's the only team we have. Okay, we then gain 3 memory because of the Veedramon, the Veemon, and the Rena, because Rena's effect gives you 1 memory when one of your blue Digimon unsuspends. Only once per turn though. And then we can swing again. This BT11 Rena allows us to suspend when one of our Ulforce, when one of our Veedramon, yes, when one of our Veedramon Digimon becomes suspended, we can use the when Digivolving effect of said Veedramon to play another arena. And you know what that means? We unsuspend. Dealing the damage, checking security, all those good things. We can then swing again, tap this arena. Oh look, we're having to play a Davis. We get the searches. Oh boy. Oh, we can't pull out the arena off the Davis search. Oh well, whatever. There you go. That's that. That check happens again. What we're then going to do is that we're then going to attach the X Antibody option. We're going to swing again. We're going to then use the X Antibody to Digivolve into Ulforce Veedramon X Antibody, as you'd expect. To then unsuspend him because of his when Digivolving and bounce another thing. You see where this is going. You're perpetually bouncing, you're perpetually swinging. But then, fun fact, he has block and evade, so if your opponent tries to destroy him, you just evade it. Oh boy! You've hopefully survived the turn. If you survive the turn, your arenas come back online. You're now at 3 memory as well. You draw 1 more arena, you play the arena to give blocker and evade. You swing. What's this? One of my Veedramon Digimon became suspended. Tap the arena. Use it when Digivolving. Oh boy, I just unsuspend. You see where this is going? Like, the amount of times that I just swing, but even then, because he has block and evade, you can evade if you hit something in security. He became suspended, so you just tap the arena to unsuspend him. Like, what is this deck? This deck just infinitely stands. I don't get it. But it's so much fun. And like I said, the only thing that I would really change is swapping this little clammy boy for a Madoki Betamon, just to give a little bit more. So the matches that I had during my time at regionals were, I'm going to be looking here by the way, apologies, my computer screen's right there and there's also a light, so I'm being omega blinded. But my first match was against a security control player. It's weird because security control, it feels like it should be able to just keep chipping you out over and over and over and over and over. But with this deck, with Ulforce Veedramon, you're just turboed, so you can build up a lot faster, and even then, the security control player can't really do anything. Yes, they can minus probably 15,000, they can minus DP off of you, so that nothing can get hit, but when you're swinging, if you hit those security bombs, you have your old arenas and your Tamer ties to push your DP higher and protect yourself more there. So I ended up winning that, a solid 2-0 to kick off the match, to kick off the day. Very, very happy, confident in myself there, but I was still very scared because security control, I wasn't expecting it to be there. I'd completely forgotten it was a deck, not gonna lie. So then we move on to our second match, which was a purple Billsmon player. This was a 2-1 match, and I completely threw the first game. My opponent they went first? My opponent went first. So they had had a simple Impmon in the back, and done whatever else they'd done for their turn. I can't quite remember. I think they just went into Wizardmon. I build my stack all the way up into Aero Veedramon, so I'm getting ready for my second turn. My opponent then promotes their Wizardmon and goes into Wizardmon X Antibody. Now, Wizardmon X Antibody gives blocker to the stack. This is key. But then they managed to get all the way into Veedramon, and yeah, they're set for their turn basically. They do a little bit of chip, just one. No, they didn't even do chip actually. They just left the Veedramon on. So then I promote my Veedramon with jamming, because I had the starter one in the stack, and I swing with jamming. I forgot the stack had blocker, so I swing, crash into the Veedramon, and now I have to try and recover my stack. I ended up losing that game just because damn foolishness. I then ended up going on to win the next 2 games. Absolute stomps. It's amazing what happens when you remember what's on the board. Game number 3 was against Red Hybrid. It was very, very tough. I heavily bricked. It's very unfortunate. There was nothing I could do. I just wasn't seeing pieces I needed. Game number 1 was very close. We both got down to 0 security. I just needed one more swing. I was in the X Antibody Ulforce, but I just could not find the last piece to help me swing. Get that final swing in. And then unfortunately he hit me because I'd already swung and all of that sort of stuff. Game number 4, it was the exact opposite for my opponent. My opponent was heavily bricking. They were playing Red Black War, not even Red Black War, they were just playing Red Veedramon X Antibody. And they were just heavily bricking. There was nothing that could be done. Game number 5, Pablo Veedramon, came down to a close match. I faced this opponent during Ultimate Cup back in April, was it? Over in Warsaw, where they unfortunately beat me again with Bloomlord. I was playing the slightly different version of the deck, seeing as BT12 was not out yet, but it was tough. Speaking of Bloomlord, my 6th match was against a Bloomlord player. I think I just bricked again. I want to say it was a close match, but also no. just no, it's Bloomlord. He pierced through most of my stuff. My stacks were just gone. Not much could be said. I think it was a 2-1 though, if I remember correctly. My final match was against a Hunter's deck once again, and I must say, it felt somewhat like my opponent wasn't too familiar with the deck. My opponent was hard playing Digimons. They were hard crossing into everything, but I just kept bouncing it, and he couldn't do anything. So very, very confusing about if my opponent really knew what they were doing, or if they were just playing Hunters because it was the meta deck at the time. But that's my run. I came 56th, 12 points on a 4-3-0 win-loss tie. It is what it is. What am I going to build next? EX4, I'm probably going to build Omnimon, but we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, thank you everybody so much for watching, and Digimon.